My dad succeeded in his rebellion. He doesn't know what to do with himself. The deposed emperor is still charming. The former crown prince is quite attractive. He gave them all to my daughter. The father and daughter are so mad they're coughing blood. Why was I so excited? Why give them to me? It's a death sentence. My dad is a strange guy. He was stationed at the border. He had a huge army. He was wild and unrestrained. His dream was to raise an army and rebel, storm the capital. On the 15th of every month without fail he would write to the emperor, asking if he was about to die. The first time I saw the letter, I was dumbfounded. Dad, aren't you afraid he'll come and kill us? My dad held his brush, furrowed his brow and thought, will he come? Then he took the line, are you dying yet, and changed it to, why aren't you dead yet? I didn't dare to say anything. But what's even stranger is, no matter what nonsense my dad wrote in the letter, the emperor never replied. No, that's not right. He replied once. My dad found me on the roadside when I was still an infant. He was overjoyed. He wrote to the emperor saying he had a daughter now. The emperor had been like dead before. That time the emperor replied very quickly. In the letter, he said his crown prince had just turned 1 year old. They could arrange a childhood betrothal. He even sent a marriage decree along with the letter. My dad was silent for a moment. He read the letter over and over, and made up his mind to rebel. He came to play with me in the cradle with a rattle drum. What's so good about a crown prince? You are my daughter. You'll be a princess in the future. My dad prepared for years. He decided to rebel, and just did it. I was ready for success or failure. But I never thought the rebellion would go down like this. Every time we reached a city, the emperor sent a trusted minister to persuade my dad to turn back. They said, General, please go back. My dad refused. Seeing that he wouldn't go back, they ordered the locals to open the city gates and let us through. To be honest, I've never actually rebelled before. But shouldn't we be attacking the gates and shooting arrows and then shouting kill, kill, kill? 36 cities, 36 ministers couldn't convince my dad to go back. And then we reached the palace in half a year. To be precise, the 6 months were mainly spent on traveling. My dad was on his horse, gazing at the palace walls. He mused that the whole journey was without a single battle. Oh, my dad, too modest. Not just without a battle. We didn't even use weapons at all. The palace was also very quiet. When my dad burst into the imperial study, the emperor was still reviewing memorials. He glanced at him, and then nothing happened. My dad, with his fiery temper, he came up and swept everything off the emperor's desk. What are you still reviewing? I've got you surrounded. The emperor looked up. His expression was cold. My dad didn't waste words. Give me the imperial seal, and abdicate quickly. The emperor placed his red brush on the rest, slowly stood up, searched for the seal on the antique shelf. The current emperor is unnervingly calm. The emperor has written the abdication edict. My dad hesitated, holding the seal. The emperor waited a long time, turned his head to look at him, with confusion in his eyes. Then he tapped the lid with his finger. Here my dad was silent, but he was absolutely furious. Threw the seal to me. I silently stamped it, and put away the abdication edict, then excitedly told my dad, Father Emperor, you're the emperor now. Father Emperor was also excited. Good daughter, what should we do first? After all, neither of us has ever been emperor. Subconsciously, we both looked toward the only person present who had been emperor. You should first pick up the memorials you threw on the ground. The deposed emperor stood tall and graceful, a slight curve at the corner of his mouth. Of course, in the end it was still the deposed emperor who picked them up off the ground himself. Father Emperor said that since he was a rebel now, he should do his best to humiliate the imperial family. I don't understand. Is this why, when the deposed emperor was picking things up, he stepped on his back? He sure knows how to humiliate people. He told me to go catch the imperial concubines, but there were no concubines in the harem, so that plan failed. So Father Emperor told me to go capture the former crown prince and humiliate him together. But when I went, the former crown prince was sitting opposite a grand master, discussing strategies. He sat upright, handsome in appearance, sitting on the floor, talking eloquently. I stood at the window. Are you His Highness the Crown Prince? The Emperor orders you to come with me. I didn't lie. My dad is the Emperor. That person looked at me. His eyes flickered, asked me to wait a moment. I waited an hour before finally bringing him in. Father Emperor complained I was too slow. I said pitifully that he hadn't finished his lesson. We are rebels. You're arresting someone and you wait for class to end? Why not wait until he passes the imperial exams? I don't need that. The Crown Prince before the exams looked perfectly calm. His emotional control was exactly like his father's. My dad was grinding his teeth in anger. My dad tried every way to humiliate them, but he couldn't make this father and son react the way he wanted. Finally he turned his attention to me, a flash of inspiration. The deposed emperor still has charm. The former crown prince is quite handsome. Both are granted to my daughter. As soon as he said that, all three fell silent. The deposed emperor, holding the memorial in his hand, threw it at Father Emperor. Are you crazy? Father Emperor blocked it with his arm. I am the emperor. Try throwing another one. The deposed emperor followed instructions, threw over 7 or 8 memorials in a row, just hitting him. It was the former crown prince who, knowing when to submit, said, "A wise man submits to circumstances." He looked me up and down, seemed to be seriously considering. "Are you married?" Seeing my hesitation, he added, "No concubines." "You've got principles, kid. You were the crown prince after all. Don't you feel humiliated?" The former crown prince stroked his chin. Pondering, he said, "For my father, it's humiliation. For me, it's not. I should also get married." "You should get married. What's it to me?" He flicked his sleeve. "Your father betrothed you to me. Then he also betrothed me to your father." He furrowed his brow slightly, glanced at the deposed emperor, then looked at me. "Nana takes him as a concubine. Anyway, Gu won't act." I was speechless. His Majesty was very satisfied with the former crown prince's submissive behavior. Very satisfied indeed. He was very dissatisfied with the ungrateful deposed emperor. He said, "Now I am the emperor. Don't say it's my daughter. Even if I like you, you have to wash yourself and be sent to me." The deposed emperor remained silent for a long moment. "Unless I get struck by lightning, otherwise it's absolutely impossible." His Majesty flew into a rage again. "Who are you trying to shock with? I'll have someone cut your head off immediately." His Majesty said he hadn't had enough and pushed the other with his hand. The deposed emperor had been pampered since childhood, so he was no match for my father in a fight. He was pushed back several steps and his back slammed hard against the bookshelf. The sound of it was painful to hear. I think on this joyous day, "Why are we fighting?" I really couldn't bear it, so I quickly knelt down, begging Your Majesty, "Why are you granting her to me? Just stab her to death directly. I think I'm the only smart one here. I've successfully rebelled." The deposed emperor and the former crown prince. These two are definitely must-kills. The room was silent. I looked up. Their expressions were different. I furrowed my brow, pressed my lips together and said nothing, as if I'd encountered a difficult problem. The deposed emperor leaned askew against the bookshelf, a smile curling at the corner of his mouth. I was just wondering what he was smiling about when I wasn't paying attention. Our eyes met with the former crown prince's. His eyes were filled with hatred. "You rebelled and didn't kill a single person, and yet you want to stab your aunt to death?" "It's not that I don't kill people, I just didn't have the chance, okay?" My father came to his senses, cleared his throat. "Although we are rebels, we can't go too far." His Majesty told me to take the former crown prince away. As for the deposed emperor who would rather die than submit, he would be kept under strict watch for now. My father is still too naive. The strategy of bedside, how can I allow others to snore beside my bed? I came in a hurry, and I don't have a princess residence, so I moved into the crown prince's eastern palace for now. At night I had just tucked in my blanket and was about to sleep when someone lifted it up. Damn it. It took me half an hour to tuck in the corners. The former crown prince Li Muqin sat on the edge of the couch, taking off his clothes to prepare for bed. When he was almost undressed, I sprang into action and subdued him. "Don't sleep, there's someone in the bed." Li Muqin held a candle and illuminated me. "It's you." He leaned in close. "Earlier today you wanted to stab me to death, and now at night you want to assassinate me in bed?" I grew up at the border, and I've never seen anyone as beautiful as Li Muqin, and he was so close to me, making my mouth dry. So I opened my mouth. I must have lost my mind. I blew out his candle. Li Muqin stopped me. "What are you trying to do?" I thought about it. I lay down calmly, staring straight at him. I wanted the candlestick in his hand. Li Muqin's face changed. He pulled the blanket over my face. "Don't even think about it." Every time I stuck my head out, he quickly covered it again. After a few rounds, I got so mad I used my strength, pinned him down on the bed, his cheek pressed against the blanket. Even though he was the crown prince, he wasn't that strong. I was thrilled. "You can't force me." The person under me was still struggling violently. I grabbed his ear. "I want you to tuck me in properly, okay?" I was wrapped up like a giant silkworm, couldn't even turn over. Li Muqin was satisfied with his work. Then he grabbed another quilt and lay down next to me. He said he's particular about his bed. Maybe I was too tired from the rebellion. I fell asleep quickly. Woke up the next day. Nothing happened between us, but we'd already shifted apart in our sleep. I moved my head off his chest. He pulled his arm back from my waist. We kept quiet the whole time. Both of us were very calm. Li Muqin even let me wash my face with water first. Then I cleaned myself up, walked out of the palace calmly. Then I picked up my skirt and sprinted all the way to my father's bedchamber. "Dad, what do I do if I'm no longer pure with the former crown prince?" "Help!" I pounded frantically on the door. Finally the door opened. But it was the former emperor who opened it. He was wearing a purple robe, long hair like ink, looking tired. He gave me a cool once-over, opened his mouth. "What did you do to my son?" My eyes went wide in shock. "Isn't he supposed to be under strict guard?" I held onto the door, my body tilted slightly, my voice trembling. "What did you do to my dad? Is he dead already? Is he dead already?" The deposed emperor's expression turned serious. He sighed and said slowly, "You really are Chen Qianyong's daughter." Then he pointed to the side hall at the end of the corridor. My dad was leaning against the door, raising an eyebrow at me, as if to say, "Your dad? How could I die?" After a night's rest in the palace, today he changed into a long robe, fixed himself up a bit, and actually looked presentable. I remembered him bragging when drunk, that in his youth he was a young general famous in the capital. Seems like there was some truth to it. I licked my lips, stomped my foot and said, "Dad." Li Muqing put his arm around my waist. "I'm General Chen's only daughter. I've run wild on the frontier. No man has ever dared to touch me." My dad nudged the deposed emperor. "What kind of prince did you raise?" Then he looked at me, and made an uppercut gesture, then hit him. I lowered my head and sighed, but he only did it after I fell asleep. The deposed emperor narrowed his eyes. He poked my dad's shoulder. "Your daughter is quite something." My dad was speechless for a moment, then he coughed. "Well, kick him out after you're done next time. Something's off." How come I don't understand what he said? Today is the second day since my dad and I succeeded in our rebellion. We were thinking, after humiliating the deposed emperor and the former crown prince, what to do next. After thinking for a while, it suddenly dawned on me. He stared at Feidi, suddenly slapped the table, pointed at his nose and said word by word, "Have I not even been crowned yet?" Feidi rubbed his temples, and said helplessly, "Just go to court." My dad and I exchanged a knowing look. Right, off to court. When we got there, we found we were 2 whole hours late for court, and all the officials were urging us to eat. They even saw my dad and me, swaggering in. Some fool even asked, "Oh, General Chen is back? Is His Majesty not coming? Come on, let's go eat out." My dad pondered for a moment. I thought he was going to lose his temper, but he leaned over and whispered, "Hey, I do want to eat at a restaurant. I'll help you over. Let's handle court first, then talk about food." Under the curious and enthusiastic eyes of the crowd, we climbed up to the high place. Then my dad turned around gracefully and sat on the dragon throne. The room fell dead silent. My dad and everyone exchanged glances. He tried to rest his arm on the dragon head armrest, but because he wasn't looking, his elbow missed and he swayed. Feeling a bit awkward, I coughed, took a deep breath, smiled broadly, and said in a loud but trembling voice, "Congratulations to General Chen Xianyang on his ascension. Long live the emperor. May he live 10,000 years." I smiled as I looked down at the ministers. He gave a fake smile and said, "You can skip the formalities now." "And why are you doing the eunuch's job?" I glanced at the eunuch whose spot was taken. He was already skinny like a bird, and now he was so nervous his eyes were darting around. I forced a friendly smile, and declined the duster he offered. The whole place remained silent, until someone's tablet dropped to the ground. I seized the opportunity, drew my sword and said coldly, "What, do you have objections?" "Damn, I'm so cruel. Finally feels like a rebel." Li Muqing, the leader, stepped forward first and said, "Congratulations on your ascension, General." He wore the crown prince's court attire, making him look tall and dignified, with an impressive bearing. Everyone looked around, shrugged at each other, and slowly knelt down. My dad put his hands behind his head, leaned back, and said, "All right, everyone go eat. Being emperor doesn't seem that hard. Here's the problem, His Majesty is crowned, but how do we notify the common people? We didn't fight or kill anyone along the way. Outside this palace, no one knows we rebelled." My dad said, "How about we distribute flyers and put up notices?" I waved my hand. "Too tacky. People will think we're a bunch of amateurs." He agreed that what I said made some sense. Right now the deposed emperor and the former crown prince are in the hall with us. They are kneeling by the window, father and son playing chess. One is straightforward. They go back and forth. Li Muqing hears this and looks over. "Father Emperor, these 2 fools are taking it too far. What should we do?" The deposed emperor keeps playing chess unconcerned. "It's fine, let them play." "Hey, with my temper, I can still hear you. Treating me like an idiot is one thing, but treating me like a deaf person too." I take a few steps, and flip the chessboard over. Li Muqing claps his hands, calm and composed. He looks at me, a slight smirk, indifferent. "I've won this game." My father also comes over. "Li Xuan, do you look down on me?" Li Xuan is the name of the deposed emperor. The deposed emperor puts the pieces in his palm into the box. His tone is very natural. "No, not at all. I have faith in you. You are the hero of this era, the great ruler under heaven." The deposed emperor finishes speaking, looks up and smiles. I was just looking for an excuse to cause trouble, but you can't hit a smiling face, so he had to back down. Li Muqing raises an eyebrow and says calmly, "I lost. I admit defeat." He picks up the chessboard from the ground, then looks up at me. "You are a beauty that can topple cities. Unique in the world." He says I am a beauty and independent. It must be because I drew my sword in the hall today. I impressed him. Wait, he seems to be teasing me. Almost fell for it. I lift his chin with 2 fingers. "Li Muqing, you're not trying to use seduction to accomplish your grand plan of enriching the country, are you?" For a moment, Li Muqing is stunned. His face turns awkward. The deposed emperor rests his chin on his arm, propping his head, his long fingers rest on his cheek, his gaze is quite sympathetic, he shakes his head lightly at the crown prince, just copying mechanically won't work. Li Muqin closes his eyes, quite helpless, you haven't even changed the reign name yet, how can I restore the kingdom? So there is a reign name. I release him, I got it, I can find the historiographer, have him write me and my father into history, that way, the dynastic change is complete. The historiographer arrives quickly, he looks at the deposed emperor and crown prince, then looks at me and my father, then adopts a wait-and-see attitude. You, write in the history book. From today onward, the Li dynasty is changed to the Chen dynasty, with founding emperor Chen Xianyang. The historiographer's mouth drops open. I think about it more, gesturing on his palm. I am the conspicuous one. Conspicuous, the proud ram. I stop him from making a fool of himself in time. Dad, I think it's not that he can't read. The deposed emperor and former crown prince both look down. But I know they are secretly laughing. My father feels embarrassed. Flicking his sleeve he says, that's a matter of attitude. Drag him out and behead him. The historiographer looks at the deposed emperor and his son. Never expected in my rebellion cause the first to be sacrificed to heaven is actually him. Li Xuan finally speaks slowly, interrupting Chen Xianyang. You want to found a dynasty, just start a new one yourself. My history book ends here. The historian quickly responded, yes, your majesty, I'll get you a new one. Starting from today. Li Muqin held his forehead and said with a smile, on the new book record this, the one who toppled the Chen dynasty is Li Muqin. My cheeks felt warm, this guy is flirting with me again. The historian took out a blank book and wrote Chronicles of Chen on it. My father and I finally breathed a sigh of relief. That settles it. A new emperor always makes 3 big changes. First, push back morning court by 4 hours. Second, make me a princess and Li Muqin the emperor's son-in-law. Third, my father literally slammed the grand secretary's head during court, literally. I got up from the dragon throne, hands on hips, swooped down, grabbed the grand secretary's iron tablet and knocked him on the head. It was a conflict over whether to keep 50,000 troops in the capital that caused the argument. My father and I commanded 500,000 troops at the border. You could say we were born rebels ready to start a revolt. On the day of the revolt my father brought 300,000 troops. When we got a third of the way there we realized we had too many people so he sent 100,000 back. Halfway there we figured we didn't even need 200,000 so he sent another 100,000 back. When the capital gates opened for us we realized even 100,000 was too many so we sent 50,000 back. Those 50,000 were the most annoyed. All that for nothing. Got all hyped up for nothing. The remaining 50,000 soldiers I was worried they'd cause panic if they entered the city so I had them stationed outside the capital. They camped outside the city. The Grand Secretary said in court, now that His Majesty has ascended these 50,000 troops should return to the border. My father disagreed. If all the troops leave my father and I have no allies in the capital. How unsafe is that? The Grand Secretary still wouldn't let it go. From ancestral laws to the court and the people, he listed dozens of reasons demanding the troops withdraw unconditionally. Basically saying, you're the emperor, you have to listen to me. Send the troops back to the border. The best thing is to go back to herding sheep. My father was baffled right there. I'm a rebel and a traitor. You're a rebel. So how about I let you be emperor? Come on up. You look tired standing there. The dragon throne was plenty wide. He patted the empty spot, gesturing to the other. Come, sit by me. The Grand Secretary was at a loss for words, his face turning red, and finally spat out, you brat, unfit for the Grand Hall. My father became a general at 15, stationed at the border at 17, and now he's barely past 30. In the eyes of the nearly 60 Grand Secretary, he was indeed a brat, unruly and rebellious. I raised an eyebrow and walked down, took his iron tablet, and knocked 7 times. You think I'm Li Xuan, easy to bully? The Grand Secretary, an official for 30 years, had never seen this before. He was stunned. After the 7 knocks the Grand Secretary touched his head, then prostrated himself and cried out, Chen Xianyang, I quit, you're dead. My dad looked around, and found that person in the corner, the scribe writing furiously, make sure to note this down too, my highlight moment. The scribe held his brush, his face was blank, my dad looked disgusted, and shrugged. Where did Li Xuan find such an idiot? How can he be an official? I thought the same, this guy is really dumb. My dad and I left the court. I asked him why he said Li Xuan was being bullied. My dad asked me, have you enjoyed being emperor these past few days? It's not as free as we were on the frontier. My dad said, exactly. Li Xuan is very unhappy. Every day he goes to court and listens to nonsense. After court he reviews memorials, and I wrote him letters inviting him to the frontier. He hasn't been to the Grand Council in 10 years. They won't let him meet me. They say my army is dangerous. He turned to me, Junjun, am I dangerous? Dad, didn't you always ask if he was dead in your letters? My dad frowned, his eyes were wistful. That was later. He said before he dies he will order me to the capital. My dad lowered his head and sighed, walking and murmuring, Li Xuan. I stopped in my tracks. Could it be that on the day the emperor dies and the Grand Council will allow my dad to enter the capital? I am a military general. My dad is also a general. When you reach a high position of power, you understand some unwritten rules. When the emperor is on his deathbed, he secretly summons you to the capital. Obeying the order means going to your death. Not obeying is like treason. Either way it ends badly. I caught up. Dad, is this Li Xuan's way of being emperor? So cold-blooded and heartless. My dad disagreed. He is a wise emperor. Of course he has feelings. Li Muqing still studies at the Grand Tutors every day. What he reads is not policies on governing, but the art of political strategy. I think this is wrong. He is no longer the crown prince. Learning these useless things will only add to his worries. In the end, he'll end up like his father. What emperor knows that I once stole the Grand Tutor's books? After a moment of thought he said, now he is my consort. You should teach something else. The Grand Tutor looked at Li Muqing. His eyebrows moved slightly. He nodded lightly. The Grand Tutor hesitated and said, then what does the Crown Princess think the consort should learn? As expected of him, to have reached the position of Grand Tutor, he offends neither side. A great person is generous. I won't argue with an old man. Of course learn to be hard to get. From what I've seen these days, Li Muqing attracts people. Hard to get is very necessary to learn. The Grand Tutor stroked his long beard. He opened his mouth. I have only heard of female virtues and precepts. How does one learn to be hard to get? Looks like this old man is no good. I'll have to teach him myself. First, you can't be alone with women, you can't even look. Second, you can't talk to women who like you. Li Muqing was blowing on the tea leaves, a faint smile at the corner of his mouth. Does that include you? Of course not. You just revolve around me. You give me the best food first. You give me the best toys first. I stood in front of him and kept talking to my hands. He listened quite earnestly. His slender fingers rested on the cup, as if lost in thought. Suddenly he stood up, stretched out both hands, and brought the teacup to my lips. Then let me offer the princess some tea. His voice was like a clear spring in the woods. I straightened my posture. Li Muqing, he's so smooth, so I took a silent sip of tea from his cup. Fuma is very smart. That's all for today's lesson. I ran off without looking back. Li Muqing gave a faint smile. He set the cup down with one hand and knelt back down, then invited the tutor to sit. Teacher, let's continue. I leaned against the wall outside the door. My heart was pounding. My face was still burning. I probably couldn't kill him anymore. Li Muqing's behavior was as gentle as usual. I really couldn't humiliate him, and it was rare that he actually learned. A beauty stopped him in the green garden, calling him cousin crown prince. Li Muqing had someone bring out a hat. He gently put on the white veil, covering his entire face. Then a servant stepped forward. Sorry, my lord cannot speak with you. The beauty's eyes turned red. Cousin plans to marry General Chen's daughter. Li Muqing nodded and walked away. I hid in a willow tree by the lake spying. Didn't expect it to end so quickly. Li Muqing walked under the tree, lifted the hood, looked up and smiled, called out to me, come down. I moved my toes and lightly jumped down. I took his arm again and gracefully stepped along the trunk. He didn't react in time. He reached out and held me tight. His eyes sparkled. Li Muqing and I sat side by side on the tree. I used a willow leaf to skip stones on the lake, creating gentle ripples. Li Muqing, am I amazing? Picking leaves and throwing flowers is really hard. I was afraid he didn't know how hard this move is. Li Muqing broke off a willow twig. His fingers twisted and danced, making a beautiful willow ring. He was about to put it on my head. I lowered my head. You're amazing. He had to use a coaxing tone. My earlobes burned. I awkwardly changed the subject. Where did your cousin come from? Oh right, who's your mother? Li Xuan doesn't have no consorts in the harem at all. I don't know where he got a cousin from. He's an adopted heir from the clan. His biological father is Prince Liang. His mother is a princess, so the cousin is naturally a girl from the royal family. Li Muqing turned his head to look at me, but we don't interact much. Don't worry, I'm not worried at all. I stood up to leave. Li Muqing grabbed my sleeve. Ajun, stay with me a little longer. The lake sparkles. The light fades. Li Muqing looked up at me. I started my studies at 5. At 7, I entered the Eastern Palace. At 10, I entered the court. It's been a long time since I climbed a tree, so the crown prince is this pitiful. I sat down with Li Muqing until the sun set in the west. I leaned on his shoulder, feeling drowsy. Under the afterglow of the setting sun, Li Muqing rested his chin on my hair. His gesture was indescribably gentle. I admire you. I didn't have my eyes open, but I heard it. Me too. My feelings have changed. Sleeping in the same bed with Li Muqing no longer seemed appropriate. At night he still came to undress. lay down and quickly seemed sleepy. I poked him. Don't you have trouble sleeping in new beds? He turned his face to me and hummed. What's wrong? I thought for a moment. Still, I told him I'd switch the bed. Didn't you notice? Li Muqing sat up in shock. He looked left and right at the bed frame, its grain and texture. It has changed. And he hadn't even noticed. His cheeks flushed rapidly, especially his earlobes. They were so red they seemed ready to bleed. I'm not lying. I used to have trouble sleeping in new beds. He thought I would doubt him. Li Muqing threw on a robe, jumped off the bed, almost fell to the floor. He was always so proper and composed, rarely so flustered. He actually fled in panic. I called out to him, Muqing, you're not wearing shoes? Muqing. It was the first time I'd called his name. It dawned on me belatedly. Li Muqing and we make such a perfect match. I yanked the blanket over my head. My father did whatever he wanted in the court. He'd make 2 ministers cry in a single day. With nothing to do in the palace, I went to the outskirts for horseback riding and archery. The paddock was decent enough, set against a hill for archery. Suddenly they shot at the turf, from near to far, all bullseyes. I rode 3 laps, fired all my arrows, none missed. Then someone rode up on horseback, shouted out loud, good. We both slowed our horses casually, circling each other, couldn't stop immediately, but that person drew his bow and shot at me. I held my bow, spread both hands wide, leaned back, almost flat against the horse's back. The arrow flew right over my head, hit the bullseye dead center. Prince of Liang, Li Roting. He passed by me, reached out his hand. Even if you hadn't dodged just now, I wouldn't have hurt you at all. Such an ostentatious person. I sat up on my own, rode back to the city. That person slowly followed behind. Miss Chen, you have a free spirit. You yearn for freedom. The palace doesn't suit you. She recognized me. I'm guessing you're Li Muqing's older brother. That's me. At that, I finally turned to look at him. You're flirting with me here today. Are you trying to take something from him? I grew up on the frontier. Not fit for the palace, so am I fit for the Prince of Liang's manor? You're extremely jealous of the emperor. You're beneath contempt. Half-brothers, same father. He's emperor. I'm a prince. In what way am I inferior to him? Do you think that's fair? Li Ruting tightened the reins, stared straight ahead. I didn't look at him again. The emperor is the sovereign. You are his subject. Even I, a mere subject, can see that. You'll never grasp the way of being a ruler. I tightened the reins and walked forward quickly. Li Muqing was standing at the entrance waiting for me. He gently brushed the dust off me. Li Ruting came riding on horseback, and challenged him to a contest. Li Muqing conceded defeat directly. In terms of equestrian and archery skills, I figure he's no match for the young prince. Then he took my hand and led me away. I pressed close to him. Muqing, are you really not as good as him? Horsemanship and archery are among the 6 gentlemanly arts. Given his level of study, I don't think he would neglect this skill. Li Muqing said, debating about strengths and weaknesses is not the conduct of a gentleman. Besides, I am the crown prince. If I could act out of anger, how could I rule the world? I grabbed his arm, my eyes sparkling. But you are no longer the crown prince. You are my Fuma. We can teach him a lesson. Li Muqing stopped in his tracks. I thought he had changed his mind. He stared at me, and said in a deep voice, no, Father Emperor once taught me, there are countless things one must not do. Only then can one earn the freedom to do one particular thing. I don't know what that thing is, but Li Muqing should know. His gaze toward me grew deeper and deeper. I met his eyes, gathered my courage and said, but I know, you are better than him, much, much better. Li Muqing just smiled. He helped me into the carriage. My dad has already persuaded most of the cabinet to resign. In 7 days 10 people have threatened to quit. The cabinet has started to slack off. The backlog of memorials grows larger. By the way, my father only handles memorials presented at court. He's too lazy to approve them. Li Xuan worked non-stop for 3 days, and finally broke into a rage of cursing. Chen Xiangyang, look what you've done. I'm fucking more exhausted now than when I was emperor myself. My father and I were playing Gomoku. He didn't turn around but could reach back and catch a flying memorial. He raised an eyebrow. I clapped and said, wow, Dad, so cool. Li Muqing propped his chin on his hand and looked up at me. No dark circles under his eyes. He was also called in to work overtime. The wheel of fortune turns. Now it's these two's turn to suffer. Li Xuan gnashed his teeth. He came over and pushed me aside. My father looked at him lazily. What do you want? Li Xuan, with a cold face, pressed his fingers on the chessboard, and quickly won my father's Gomoku game in just a few moves. My father, at this soul-crushing speed after winning the 7th round, I stopped my father, who was about to lose it, and dragged him out. By the time I had comforted my father and came back, I found that there were voices of other people in the imperial study, so familiar. It was the Grand Secretary, that old man who got his head pounded with a board. That day, Your Majesty said to clear the way and let him enter the capital to play along with his act, so that we could trick him into surrendering military power. Now General Chen refuses to withdraw his troops. He suspects it's my sword. Better to have the Imperial Guard kill him. We can make plans later. Li Xuan's voice was cold. What about the 50,000 troops of Jingjiao? If they were to rebel, how would we counter? The Grand Secretary Chen said. General Chen's daughter has considerable prestige in the army. I heard the Crown Prince is already deeply in love with her. I think if he marries her and placates her a bit, then the 50,000 troops of Jingjiao can be ours. Li Muqing was silent, so they deliberately let us come. It was to kill my father. Li Muqing still wants my military command. I cast my eyes down, my chest slowly filled with a sour ache. I looked at my father. Tears spilled from my eyes. Father, I love him. He lied to me. My father frowned. He patted my head. Junjun, he is an emperor. Are you ready to love an emperor? I love Li Muqing. I love his words and deeds. I love his dignified bearing. I love his calm composure. I also love, that day he said very seriously, a girl should not be timid. He lied to me. My tears fell rapidly. My father wiped my tears with his sleeve. From inside, Li Xuan spoke. The army is in the Crown Prince's hands. What does the Crown Prince think? I opened my eyes wide to hear what Li Muqing would say. Father Emperor, your son will handle it well. I burst out crying loudly, startling everyone inside and outside the door. The deposed emperor, the former Crown Prince and the Grand Secretary all looked over. The scene was awkward. Li Muqing was the first to react. He ran over. Arjun, you heard? My eyes blurred with tears. I pointed at him. Li Muqing, you lied to me. You bullied me. I'm not as smart as you. You treat me like a fool. Li Muqing didn't immediately retort. Instead, he grabbed my wrist. He led me aside to the Grand Secretary's office. He walked in front of my father. Chen Xianyang, you only brought your daughter into the palace. Your life and death are in others' hands. Now it's time to die. Hand over military command to the central government. My father drew his sword. He pointed the sword at the Grand Secretary. Why, over 10 years ago you killed my whole family for military power, and over 10 years later you still won't let it go. I was so shocked I stopped crying. I had never heard my father talk about his family. The Grand Secretary was unafraid of death. He took a few steps closer. The sword blade drew a bead of blood. Both the army and the people's hearts belong to the Son of Heaven. If not for His Majesty ignoring the pressure from the entire court back then, and forcibly sending the general to the border, how could you, Chen Xianyang, have survived to this day? My father retorted loudly, but my Chen family never intended to rebel. The Grand Secretary continued to step closer. Your Chen family has the ability to rebel. That's enough. My father's face turned serious. He glared at the Grand Secretary. Instead, he began to sneer. If I am willing to hand over military command today, will you let me live? The Chief Minister shook his head. No, you're as good as dead. No one hands a knife to their enemy, and no one believes the other side really handed it over. My father turned the sword around and held it to his throat. Li Xuan, do you want me to die? Li Xuan had been silent for a long time. His face was pained and restrained. Suddenly he closed his eyes. He swept everything off the table onto the floor. He braced himself on the table with both hands. Head lowered. Enough. His clenched fists turned white at the knuckles. His whole body trembled slightly. Enough. I have endured for years. To be a wise emperor, to be virtuous ministers. We've had enough of all that. It was I who tricked the cabinet into letting us through. Then his voice caught. I wanted to see a friend from my youth. Li Xuan lifted his head. He looked at my father. I just wanted to see you. And play around with you. The tone of his voice was tender, yet it made my father lower his sword. Left the capital at 16, rebelled at 32. It's been 16 years. I've written countless letters, calling him to the border to have fun. He always said he couldn't come. The Chief Minister knelt and pleaded, Your Majesty, youthful whims are not fitting. Li Xuan had already regained his composure. Chief Minister, I have already written an abdication edict. I don't want to be emperor anymore. I let out a sob. Tearfully I looked at Li Muqing. Li Muqing patted my back. He stepped forward. Respectfully he helped the Chief Minister up, saying, Chief Minister, from now on let me, the princess, play with the cabinet. The Chief Minister had nothing to say. He let out a deep sigh. Afraid the Chief Minister would again say he'd kill my father, I quickly added, I'm willing to marry the Crown Prince. Those 50,000 troops can be my dowry. The Chief Minister closed his eyes. Since it's come to this, let it be. Today is another day of being a wise minister through the ages. At night I had just fallen asleep when Li Muqing came again. He looked ashamed. He had to apologize. Your Highness, don't you have trouble sleeping away from your own bed? The Eastern Palace is too big. I got lost. I went back and realized I don't have trouble with the bed anymore. Now I have trouble without the person. Li Muqing stood by the head of the bed. He tucked the blanket around me. I turned over and messed up his work. Li Muqing leaned in. Junjun, I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong. He reached his hand over. Dangling from his fingers was an oddly shaped iron token. I couldn't be bothered to look. I'm an idiot. I don't recognize it. Li Muqing said cautiously. Didn't you say today you'd be willing to marry me? He dared mention it. I sat up immediately. During the day I was considering the big picture. You think I'm desperate to like you? Am I not a person? Li Muqing stroked my back with his hand. I know this is the token to command the Imperial Guards. I'm giving it to you, then you won't have to worry. Although I was still angry, I still accepted the gift. The token of the Black Armor Imperial Guard. If Li Muqing weren't here, I'd have to hug and kiss it. I kept a straight face, secretly, feeling the texture with my hand. It's real. Not a fake, huh? Li Muqing tugged my sleeve. Can I sleep here? I won't do anything. I shifted to the inner side of the bed. Li Muqing was as happy as a dog. The next day, I took the token to show off to my dad. Look what this is, a black armor token. With one order I could wipe them all out. My dad's eyes lit up. Suddenly his imperial seal didn't seem so great. Because we're both military generals, we prefer the black armor position. The deposed emperor and Crown Prince Qian were playing chess again. Li Xuan overheard us. He frowned. That's the last line of defense for the palace. You gave it away just to get in bed? Li Muqing raised an eyebrow slightly, holding a piece and placing it gently. Father, your words are too harsh. You gave away the imperial seal yourself. Li Xuan said quietly. That thing was useless anyway. Li Muqing didn't argue with him. Father is absolutely right. The Empress Dowager is back. My dad and I locked eyes. Do you think the Empress Dowager won't like me? My dad pondered for a moment. Anyway, she doesn't like me. I got even more worried. Does the Empress Dowager dislike people who wield swords and guns? I said to Li Muqing. He chuckled softly, saying my situation was completely different from my dad's. Sure enough, when the Empress Dowager met us, she really liked me. Holding my hand, she couldn't help but exclaim, "What a pretty girl." When she saw my dad, she was expressionless. Oh, it's General Chen. My dad was speechless. The Empress Dowager is also eccentric. She only cares about who the emperor is now. Li Xuan asked, Mother, why do you say that? The Empress Dowager smiled. You refuse to take concubines now the emperor has changed. I definitely have to start urging childbirth. It doesn't matter who the emperor is, spreading the family tree is key. The four of us said in unison. Who assigned you this task? I'll see which of you is willing to take on this important duty. The Empress Dowager's gaze roamed freely, like she was choosing a pet. I quickly took out the imperial seal from my bosom, then looked around and threw it into my arms. It's hot in my hands too. In a panic I tossed the seal to Li Muqing. The moment it left my hand I realized, oh no, I gave it to the wrong person. Li Muqing held the seal. I looked at him with pleading eyes. Rare, so rare. Li Muqing nodded. Only then did I feel relieved. Then I'll graciously accept it. You kid, you changed your tune pretty fast. I reasonably suspect you've been rehearsing this in private for a long time. I nearly ground my teeth to dust. Li Muqing, he raised an eyebrow at me. My beloved, what's wrong? I couldn't really lose my temper in front of the Empress Dowager. Li Muqing pulled me over, dragged me to kneel before the Empress Dowager. Grandmother, your son and Junjun will work hard. As for the harem, your son can only sleep with one person. I really can't comply. The Empress Dowager took the maid's arm and sat down. Fine, fine. As long as you're better than your father. I've had enough too. And that's how it was settled. The Empress Dowager said we should hold the coronation, and the wedding, and someone should go back where they came from. She didn't want to bother with us anymore. Li Muqing was crowned emperor, with the title of crown princess. I became the empress directly. It was especially grand. Li Muqing on horseback came to pick me up from the training camp outside the city. I tied a silk bow to the top of the flagpole in the parade ground. From afar, it looked like a little red dot. Li Muqing sat on his horse, drew his bow, and shot. He hit it with one arrow. The soldiers cheered and applauded. I stepped on his stirrup and climbed onto his horse. Li Muqing, I knew you were the best at archery. Li Muqing hugged me tightly from behind. Junjun, I once told you the only freedom is. Do you know what it is? It's love, it's you. The wind whistled past our ears. The busiest street in Chang'an was cleared in advance today. He was dressed in splendor. Never so unrestrained. This is the one thing earned from countless can'ts. But now that I'm empress, there will be countless can'ts in the palace. But I also have my one thing. Li Muqing, I adore you too. His laughter echoed in my ears. So you did hear me that day. My father is returning to the border. He's taking Li Xuan back with him. Li Xuan asked him what he thought of the kingdom. My father looked back at him. The two fell silent for a moment, until my father spoke again. You asked me to guard the border for you. I've kept it for 16 years. Don't you want to see the results? Li Xuan sighed. The situation was critical back then. If I hadn't said that, you wouldn't have left. My father nodded. I know, so I went. But back then, you said you would come to the border to find me. Li Xuan was silent for a long time. Then please wait for me. Adults don't need to spell everything out. Li Xuan turned and left. My father gripped the oar rope and sighed deeply. He decided to go alone. Junjun, you two take care of each other. If he's not good to you, send me a message. The 500,000 troops at the border are your backup. Li Muqing stood still. He lowered his voice and promised, I will continue to repair it. Rare, truly rare. I guarantee you a life of wealth and honor. My father turned the boat around, looked back at the palace. The corners of his mouth slightly curled. This would be the last time he saw the capital. Because he was too sad, he rode his horse very fast. So much so that by the time Li Xuan finished packing, he was already 3 miles away. Li Xuan promised, didn't you say I didn't need to bring luggage? Li Muqing and I exchanged a look, then turned around. Tears not yet dry. Li Xuan let the luggage-laden carriage go slowly behind, and rode ahead on horseback to catch up. Li Muqing and I walked back laughing, holding each other's hands tightly. The rest of my life is with you.